Brought to you by the Bose A20 Aviation headset, their most advanced pilot headset ever, and by XMWX Satellite Weather. Never fly blind again. Hello everyone, welcome to NAS Oshkosh. I'm Paul Bertorelli reporting from AirVenture. You know, 2011 marks the centennial of naval aviation, and ConocoPhillips Square here is just chock-a-block with Navy airplanes, and we're going to look at a few of them in this brief video. Behind me is an airplane known as the Dauntless. Now, this airplane made its chops during the Battle of Midway when it sank 4 Japanese aircraft carriers in the space of about a couple of hours. This is an early World War II design, and it was soon displaced by faster and more high-performance aircraft. Now, before a pilot could learn to fly the Dauntless, he had to get basic flight training, and for naval pilots, that occurred in the SNJ, which is behind me. Now, this is the naval version of what became the Air Force T6 Texan. Now, as the Navy advanced, it got into turboprops, and the most recent basic trainer for naval pilots is this. This is the T6B. Now, this is called the Texan 2. It's similar to the Air Force version, but the Navy version has a digital cockpit, while the T6A, which is what the Air Force mostly uses, has an analog cockpit. However, there are only about a 30% penetration of T6Bs into the fleet. They're still using T34 Mentors, which are equipped with a turbine engine, and we'll go take a look at one of those. Now, you've seen the Navy's T6B. Behind me is the T34 Charlie, which is still in mainline use by the Navy. And here's Lieutenant Brett Carson to tell us how it's used.
This is T34 Charlie. It's the main primary training aircraft for the Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. There's also some Air Force that fly it still, and it's slowly being replaced by the T6 Bravo. It's a fully aerobatic aircraft used for basic training all the way up to instrument training, formation flight. It's about 190 knots straight and level, and it's about a 550 horsepower engine.
Now, like the Air Force and every other service, the Navy has to move a lot of people and stuff, and for that they have a fleet of these airplanes, which are C9Bs. It's basically a variant of the civilian DC-9. Here's some more information on this aircraft.
It's a Navy C9B, which is civilian equivalent is a DC-9. We are logistics and passenger support. We fly all over the world, short lead tasking, where we haul people in their cargo wherever they need to go. We are based out of Joint Base McGuire, New Jersey.
Of course, one thing that Air Force pilots don't have to do that Navy pilots do is to land an airplane on a heaving carrier deck, and that's what this is all about. This is the tail hook on a T2 Buckeye. It's a basic carrier trainer. It's since been displaced by the T45, but there's still a few of these in service, and here's Lieutenant Ethan Biter to tell us about it.
This is the T2 Buckeye. Primarily in the early days, it was used as a trainer for guys that selected jets, and they would move on to the next step. This would be an intermediate trainer. Unfortunately, they phased them out, and so now they're being used as a chase aircraft in VX-20 for the P-8. There's 3 left in the inventory, and that's our job as one of our jobs as a test pilot is to chase the P-8 using the T2 here. They kind of phased out the T2, and they're just using the T45 now as the single trainer there.
If this airplane behind me looks like a grayed-up Beechcraft King Air 200, well, that's pretty much what it is. Like every other service, the Navy needs a means of teaching its pilots to fly multi-engine airplanes, and that's what the TC12B Huron is all about. Here's Captain Doug Carson to tell us how they use it.
The TC12B is used for advanced multi-engine pilot training. We fly them in Corpus Christi, Texas. We utilize 25 of the airplanes. The pilots we train in the TC12B, most of their training is centered around flying asymmetrical thrust airplanes and instrument flight. They go on to be P3 pilots, E2C2 pilots, or E6 pilots. And in some cases, for our Marine Corps, they fly C-130s and NV-22s.
You've heard how the Huron is used for basic multi-engine training. Now behind me is the F18 Hornet. Now this particular airplane is used in the test command at Pax River, and here's Lieutenant Jeremy DeBonis to tell us how it's used.
This is the F18 Super Hornet, the Navy's frontline carrier-based strike fighter. It's an augmentation of the fleet, improvements over the old F18 A through D Hornet, which are still in the fleet. This particular aircraft is Salted Dog 120. It's one of our test assets at Patuxent River, Maryland, part of VX-23, Naval Strike Aircraft Test Squadron. This particular aircraft has a green painted tail. We did the biofuel testing in 2009 and 2010, so we got certification for that. And recently we just accomplished the certification for the Legacy Hornets with the same biofuel. The Prowler will be next, and I think T45 is going to be along the line at some point.
It's a P3 Charlie. Primary mission is still anti-submarine warfare. However, with the war on terror, we've kind of shifted. We also do intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. Overland Iraq, we were overland Iraq, we're not anymore. Afghanistan, the Persian Gulf, we do a lot of different missions out there, as well as 7th Fleet in Japan, and with the new Libya, we've also done surface warfare, coordinated operations. We do every sort of subset that the Navy really has, with the exception of strike.